I believe these actors were whacked, and I believe that many others, such as Britney Spears, Lindsay Lohan, and Mel Gibson, are being played to get at their money.
When news broke that Gene Hackman had died, Hollywood barely flinched. No grand tributes, no industry-wide mourning, just a quiet announcement, a few headlines, and then nothing. It was as if he had already been forgotten, and in a way, he was. Because Hackman didn't just step away from Hollywood, he erased himself from it. No farewell interviews, no final film. One of the greatest actors of all time simply walked away. But here's the thing, legends don't just disappear. Hackman wasn't just another actor, he was one of the greats. He shaped an era, but unlike his peers, he never cared for the spotlight. He gave Hollywood some of its most unforgettable performances, then disappeared without looking back. For nearly 2 decades, he lived in Santa Fe with his wife, Betsy Arakawa, completely removed from the industry that once celebrated him. Then, suddenly, in February 2025, his name was everywhere again. But not because Hollywood suddenly remembered what he had done. It was because of how he died.
Mysterious death of Gene Hackman and his wife.
In the death of legendary actor Gene Hackman.
Actor Gene Hackman, along with his wife.
By the time anyone found Gene and Betsy, they had been dead for 9 days. Think about that. 9 days where nobody called, nobody checked in, nobody knocked on the door. A man who once commanded the screen was now lying in his own home, unnoticed, as if he had never existed at all. But it wasn't just the silence that made people uneasy, it was the scene itself. Betsy was found collapsed in the bathroom near a space heater. Gene lived for another week before his body gave out. A tragic story, but a simple one. At least, that's what they wanted people to believe. Then Randy Quaid came forward with a claim that Hackman and his wife had been murdered, and that the scene had been staged to look like an accident.
To be a malignant tumor of star whackers in Hollywood. How many people do you know personally who have died suddenly and mysteriously in the past 5 years? I have personally known 8 actors.
Normally, his theories get dismissed without a second thought, but this time, people hesitated because the details didn't add up. Enjoying the video so far? Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more. But when someone as private as Gene Hackman dies under circumstances this strange, people don't stop asking questions.
What happened? That is the question police and fans are asking tonight. Foul play not suspected, but police say the deaths were, quote...
But maybe the real question isn't how Gene Hackman died. Maybe it's why no one even realized he was gone. This was a man who stood alongside Pacino, De Niro, and Nicholson, a 2-time Oscar winner. An actor whose performances redefined the art of acting itself. And yet, when he passed, there was no national moment of silence, no major Hollywood tribute. Why? Because Hollywood only remembers who's still useful. Hackman never played the fame game. He didn't chase awards, he didn't do talk show interviews, and he never tried to reinvent himself. He simply acted, and then he left. And for that, Hollywood let him disappear. And in his final days, sitting in that house with no one checking in, it became clear he had been forgotten long before he died. Hackman's story isn't unique. Hollywood has a habit of throwing away its greatest stars once they stop being useful. Marlon Brando, once the biggest name in Hollywood, spent his final years in complete isolation. Philip Seymour Hoffman, a master of his craft, died alone in his apartment. Even Judy Garland, an icon of her time, was left penniless and forgotten. It's the same pattern over and over again. Hollywood doesn't preserve legends, it buries them. Gene Hackman saw it coming and walked away before the industry could decide his time was up. But leaving on his own terms didn't change the outcome. For years, he was invisible. Only in death did the world remember.
Well, this week, our community lost a giant. And I lost a dear friend, Gene Hackman.
And that's the real tragedy. Not just that he died alone, but that it took his silence turning permanent for anyone to notice. Subscribe for pop cult deep dives like this.